Hey y'all, so today I want to talk to you about Hoodoo Spells and Curses, which is actually the name of a book by someone calling themselves Johnny. I'm going to show you the cover here. And first of all, before I even start talking about this book, let's look at the cover here. So you can tell right away something's wrong because he's using this upside down pentagram in his cover art here, which this is a symbol that has nothing to do with hoodoo or southern folk magic. In addition, we have the stereotypical pin stuck doll and the four aces from a card playing deck, a money bag, some hands, which I believe they're waiting to receive something, and then on the back we have a horseshoe, which is okay, but then we have a stereotypical image of a witch, and then we have the pentagram that's upright. So before I start talking more about this book, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. So I found this book when I was looking for instances of plagiarism of my website and my blog. This is something that I learned from Kat Ironwood at Lucky Mojo. I can't remember if I read it at her site or if she mentioned it on her podcast, but she said that ever so often she'd take a notion, she would take a random string of text from her website and she would plug that into Google, and she would find all these instances of people plagiarizing her. So when I became a popular blogger and I built up my website, I started doing the same thing. I can go into the admin section of my website and I could see where traffic is coming to, what are the popular pages, and those are the pages that I would look. So for example, how to make a voodoo doll, how to make a mojo bag, things of that nature. I would go to those pages, copy some random text, plug that in Google, and I would begin seeing all these instances of plagiarism where people have stolen my work and presented it as their own original work on their website. And so when I did this book here came up under the Google book results. And what I did was I went over to Amazon and I saw the book that was available to purchase there, but it had the little thing you can click on to look inside. So I looked inside it and I saw all these instances where this person had taken information from my website and published it in his book, word for word, no changes whatsoever, no attempt to make it seem like his own original work. And so I left a negative review at Amazon, and then I went over to Goodreads where I have an account. I also have an author's page on Goodreads, and I wrote a negative review of the book over at Goodreads. Well, Johnny, the supposed author, replied to that review, and I have a screenshot here really quick. I'm going to show it to you and then I'm going to read it to you. Let me find it. Okay, so here is the screenshot of Johnny's message to me. Let me get it up real close for you, and then I'm going to read it. It says, I'm Johnny Marie, the one who compiled this. I had never put a work of art together before like this, and I was honestly under the impression that if I used material from outside sources, all I had to do was cite them, which, by the way, I saw an instance where he cited my website or blog in his index. I just admire you all so much. I thought citing you as sources was what I was supposed to do. I am truly sorry. I hope that you can forgive me. This will not ever happen again. Daddy always said I wouldn't amount to shit, and I guess this right here proves it. Some 17th birthday I'm having already. This was in 2018, by the way. One of my favorite people in the world, you, hating on me. I'm sorry. I wish I could attribute this to my learning disorder or even my borderline personality, but I got to be a big girl and just apologize. I'm sorry, hon. I truly am. Now, I also purchased the Kindle version of the book so that I can have it. It was cheaper, and then so I could have uh, it quickly. I would get it right then, and I really went through the book thoroughly and documented all these instances of plagiarism. So after this, Johnny, he or she, I don't know, sent me this. He agreed to take the book down and not sell it anymore. So I waited a couple of days, and I went to Amazon, I went to Goodreads, and I saw that the book was no longer available. But here's the thing that I've learned in dealing with these people. I have a album on my personal Facebook page where I do screenshots every time I find instances of plagiarism against me. And then I use the comment section under those photos to document what I'm doing. Emailed the owner website, emailed the blogger, asked them to take this down. How did they respond? Did they respond at all? And I usually give them anywhere from 3 days to a week to respond. And if they don't respond, I will do a DMCA takedown notice. And I've had several websites taken down and blogs taken down in that way. But I usually give people the benefit of the doubt and the opportunity to make it right. Now, what I found happens is a lot of times people will apologize and take it down, or they will get angry with you and somehow blame you for catching them doing something wrong. They just don't understand, if it's online, it must be free. They don't really understand it. And you also have people where they'll take it down, but they'll put it back up. Or there was a little guy in, I want to say India, no, Brazil, maybe it was Brazil. I took down his whole website because there was multiple instances of plagiarism of my work, Kat Ironwood, and other people I know in the community. And within a couple of days, he had a new host and a new website with all that same content. So you have to really be on top of this in order to get that wiped out, or you just have to let people keep stealing from you. It just depends on how much energy you want to put into this and how much effort. So anyway, like I said, in my album on Facebook, I posted these screenshots, and I used the comment section to document what I'm doing. So he said he took it down, which I waited a couple days, and I saw that the book was down. So last week, that picture I just showed you popped up in my Facebook memories. So I said, okay, it's been 2 years, let's check Amazon and Goodreads. And lo and behold, the book is back up there for sale. Now, I clicked on the little thing again to where it gives you a preview, and it showed all the same things. I saw my work in that preview, and I was under the impression that he had just put the book back up without fixing it. So what I wanted to do was, instead of ordering the Kindle version, I wanted a physical copy of the book so that I can go through the book thoroughly, take photographs, and contact Amazon. I wanted to also contact other authors whose work I recognize and let them know about this book and what's going on. And I really didn't notice until after I ordered the book and I was waiting for it to come to me. I noticed that this is the second edition of the book, not the first. So this is a new edition of the book. And I want to read the back of it for you before I go any further with critiquing this book. It says, what is hoodoo? This question is more or less answered within these pages. Hoodoo is not black magic, nor is it evil. In this manual, you will find over 100 spells and curses that come from the hoodoo tradition of magic, complete with instructions on how to cast these powerful, effective spells, plus over 70 recipes for conjure and condition oils. This is honestly a must-have for anyone interested in hoodoo, folk magic, or something different from Wicca. Excuse me. The beginner will make great use of this manual, as will the experienced practitioner. The spells found within this book are relevant for every modern-day issue, from dealing with enemies to love, luck, and money. This book has something for everyone in it. Y'all, this book is 34 pages long, and the pages are not numbered. So I'm going to get up again and show you. This is the first page, blank, except for the title, blank, 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 and then you have the first page. Now I want you to look. See all that text? Look how big that text is. I mean, I could see where if this book was bigger, that text would be great. If you have poor eyesight, you could read it without having a squint or what have you. And then at the end, blank, blank, blank. So, doing my research, looking at this book does not contain 100 spells and curses. It does not contain 70 recipes. There are 20 spells in this little book. You should probably call it a pamphlet. I paid $17 for this little thing, plus I believe shipping. So I probably paid about $1 a spell for this book. And like I said, you can see how big the text is. The other thing I noticed about this book is, let me find it, I should have marked it. I did notice that Johnny did remove all of my material that he plagiarized, material he plagiarized from other people, but there is still plagiarized material in this book. He also, in the first edition of the book, he had printed all 150 of the Psalms in the Bible that would go with some of the spells, so you would have it for reference. So that really cut down his book. And just randomly going through the book, looking for instances of plagiarism, I found this right here. Some of this is plagiarized from the Modern Witches Spell Book by Sarah Liddon Morrison. Now this came out in the 70s. It is somewhat of a controversial book today. It is definitely not Wicca, and even though it was written by a woman, a lot of people today consider it very anti-feminist. But first I'm going to read you the spell as Johnny wrote it in his pamphlet, and then I'll read it from the book. So this is to force a lost lover to return. It says, stick a brand new sewing needle that has been dressed in come-to-me oil through the wick of a red candle that you have carved your beloved's first and last name as well as birthday into and dressed in return to me oil. Light the candle and any incense. I recommend patchouli, lavender, or jasmine, and chant. Needle in flame, needle of fire. Pierce so-and-so's thoughts. Make name, writhe, agonize till he or she heart turns back to me. Now prick your left hand finger with a sterile, clean needle, and on the back of his or her photo, write their first and last name with your blood, and during the day keep the photo close to your heart when out and about. But as you sleep at night, place the photo under your pillow to make them dream of you. Bury the wax remains and needles in your backyard. Now that's how it appears in Hoodoo Spells and Curses. Now I'm going to be reading from the Modern Witches Spell Book by Sarah Liddon Morrison, and this is page 27 under Charms and Spells. Now hers is shorter. The spell goes, there is such a way, a spell that provides the possibility of actually having a love back. Whether it works out for the best or not, the knowledge that a man's feelings can be changed so he'll return is hope enough for any half-dead woman. Stick a needle through the wick of a candle, light it, concentrate, and speak the following incantation. Needle in the flame, needle of fire, pierce his thoughts, make him writhe, agonize, till his heart turns back to me. So, while most of the actions of the spell are different, the words or the incantation is the same. I also wanted to note that when I found Johnny's book was for sale again, I noticed in the description, if this iPad will work with me here. Okay, let me show you this and then I'm going to read it to you. This is the description for the book as it is now on Amazon. I don't know if y'all can see it. Okay, oh. Alright. There it is. Now, I'm going to read it to you. Again, this is the description for this book on Amazon. Hoodoo is not black magic, nor is it evil. In this manual, you will find spells and curses that come from the Hoodoo tradition of magic, complete with instructions on how to cast these powerful, effective spells. This is a must-have for anyone interested in Hoodoo folk magic. Now here's the part that really perked up my ears. I see that hating CD, Carolina Dean, is trying my patience with rude comments just because Sissy Boy flopped. He pressed. I have no idea what that means about he pressed. Maybe I'm pressing charges for the theft. Anyway, so this is pretty much my review of this pamphlet. I'm not going to call it a book anymore. This pamphlet is worthless. It is obviously written by someone who has not grown up in the tradition, someone who cannot write an original thought or idea, let alone a spell for him or herself. The description of the book on Amazon is misleading. The description on the book itself is misleading. There is virtually no information in this book. What few spells are in this book were cobbled together from various sources. Some of them call for the testicles of a rabbit or the womb of a rabbit, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm fresh out of rabbit womb. Maybe some country people can get that, but there's a lot of other things that you can use in such love spells and whatnot to get what you want without having to rip the womb out of some poor rabbit. Anyway, I give this book 0 out of 4 stars for being very bad grammar. The author is ignorant of the tradition and spells and magic in general, and no one in their right mind should have any reason to buy this book.